Welcome back to Squawk Box. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are looking at the growing influence of Latinos in the U.S. economy. Our next guest has been invested in private market companies servicing the Latinx community for 2 decades. I want to welcome David Perez, Avance Investment Management co-founder and partner. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Andrew. Thank you for having me on the show.
I called you a private equity mogul on the way into this. I don't know if you heard that part. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about specifically is you have focused on this market at a time when it has been remarkable in terms of its growth. And yet most of the private equity industry hasn't. And I'm curious how you sort of see that dynamic playing out and whether you actually think that we're about to see a big shift.
Well, thank you. First of all, Andrew, I did hear you call me a mogul, and I take a little bit of an issue with that. Maybe one in the making. More to come here. But I do see think the growth of the Hispanic market as one of the really important trends going through the country. I started looking at this market, close to 20 years ago, where Hispanics were about 10% of the population. Today, they're about 20% of the population, and if we believe the numbers from the census, we're getting to about 30% of the population in 20, 30 years. So this is one of the greatest demographic trends that we're living through. It accounts for over 60% of population growth, and it makes the U.S. the only developed economy in the world whose population is growing, which is crucially important for our country, national security, and the economy at large. And I do think that private equity is starting to notice this trend. We're very early in that wave. If you look at the Latino market, they're probably less than a fraction of 1% of the capital is focused on it. Even the practitioners in our industry, not incredibly diverse.
Right.
So I think we have ways to go, but the impact that this group is having in the broad economy and the opportunity set that we see is something that I've been very focused on throughout my careers with my partners. And I think that you're seeing the size of the Latino companies grow and then attracting the attention of some of the key players in our industry.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think the biggest opportunities are right now in terms of taking the demographics that you've just talked about, where are the investment opportunities in terms of taking that thesis in a practical direction?
Right. So, I mean, there are a couple. There are some that you would call pure plays, where you're investing in companies that are focusing primarily or exclusively on catering to that demographic. And you're seeing a lot of companies do that very well in the food area, financial services, consumer products, and other aspects of the economy. But what gets me and my partners sometimes more excited is by investing in a company that frankly has overlooked this trend or overlooked this demographic and hasn't incorporated it properly in their customer base or not leveraging this opportunity.